bunch of paratroopers together, give them ISVs, and give them Starlink, and it's pretty amazing what they can accomplish.
Like, what if we just didn't put soldiers in really situations all the time?
What are we paying them for, though? I want meat shields.
Say hi to Eli. He's racially ambiguous, and Brandon, his hair is fabulous, and Donut, a dark joke disposition, and there's a fat electrician. Welcome to Unsubscribe.
3, 2, 1.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Unsubscribed podcast. I'm joined today by Eli Doubletap, Dr. Alex Miller, Colonel Butler, Brandon Herrera, and myself, Donut Operator. Thank you so much for coming.
Hi, welcome everyone. Welcome, guys.
Damn good to be here.
Dude, we're excited to have you.
I'm excited to be here.
This is your first time.
It is. I feel
Dr. Alex.
I'm uncomfortable, but it's fine.
Here's how it went down. I said to General George, hey, I'm going on Unsubscribed podcast, and he was like, yeah, great. Alex is going with you. Super serious, like, you're not going alone.
No, he didn't trust you.
Well, Alex really knows what he's talking about. I kind of know.
No, I just use very fancy words, and people trust me.
He's a doctor.
He gave you you got to bring your little brother if you go.
And I was like, I want to let him slide. Totally flat. Good, you're taking Alex with you. Yes, sir. Of course, yeah.
I'm surprised they let you. How was it after the first episode aired for you guys? Was it you guys?
Pentagon one?
Huh?
The Pentagon
one?
one?
The Pentagon one. It was like super positive response on iSide, and you actually were like, holy shit, this is a lot of positivity.
Oh, man. Yeah, well, I mean, you guys bring a very positive vibe, and, you know, that's one of the reasons we love you. That's one of the reasons your fans love you.
They bring the positive vibe.
Yeah.
We just got lucky.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, you stay, generally, you know, you stay positive, and it's just, first of all, it's a great friggin' pod to listen to, but, so what was your reaction from the Pentagon? There were the haters. They're like, what are you doing? I got a funny, like, Teams message. Are you promoting drinking in the Pentagon? I was like,
I don't think it needs to be promoted.
Well, I was like, wait, are you talking about the podcast or in general? Because I have been known.
You conversion.
But the forward-thinking people are like, I'm so glad what you guys are doing, you know, what they see you guys do for the community, for people interested in the military, for just people interested in general. It's great.
Yeah, I think it was a blast. I mean, that was one of those staple, like, we still talk about that. It's one of those weird, holy shit, that was a thing.
I'm not surprised that there would be people in the Pentagon that would be talking down about it, but at the same time, it's quite an interesting thing considering just a few months prior, you know, the entire world got to see what the medium of podcast did to, I don't know, let's say a presidential election.
That's right.
And see that power and go, nah.
But it's
Probably not it.
That's well, yeah, it's definitely not it.
Yeah. Podcast? Nah, that's not going to last.
The other part
Can
is
we do more print media?
yeah, all of it, long form, like newspapers. Just being able to communicate, right? So normally the Pentagon doesn't talk to the people. We talk through all kinds of spokespeople, and you know they sort of hear about it. So for leadership just to go, hey, we're gonna have a conversation. We're just gonna tell you what we're thinking. We're just gonna be very open. That is antithetical to how a lot of bureaucrats were raised. And being able to go from the chief and the chief spokesman and like people on the staff down to every private, every sergeant, every officer in the Army and go, hey, here's what's happening. Unheard of. So the reaction from the force was, hey, I also want to drink White Claws, but it was, hey, that's an awesome message. Thank you for doing that.
Yeah.
That's all. I mean, even from all of us, it was that standpoint, and seeing behind the camera, because you did have specialists that were laughing in the background, and you guys didn't get to see them, but in the background,
That guy's a Fort Drum, by the way.
Gone. It's just an awesome experience, and one we will always remember. And Nick, I mean, you Google like Fat Electrician, first person to drink officially. Yeah. And that's like staple in AI now and everything.
See, now that Dick slammed it.
Yeah, we didn't know he was racing.
Did you see that part?
Oh yeah,
yeah. When Nick was just, I'm the first person to do it.
Yeah. Dick. Yeah, he made the big announcement.
If I knew it was that special of a thing, because I knew it was like, oh wow, that's really cool that we get like a waiver. But I didn't know it was like first officially consumed alcoholic beverage in the Pentagon.
Minus all the hidden speakeasies.
I don't want to rain on anybody's parade, but it's probably not the first alcoholic beverage consumed in the Pentagon. Officially.
Like signed off on.
I mean, there's what, like,
you mean we were supposed to ask?
Social occasions and stuff. The process exists, but it was certainly the first one doing a podcast in the Pentagon and drinking a White Claw during a podcast. Anyway, I'm a spokesman. I can make it the first of anything if
you get it narrow enough.
Herrera. Yeah, but
if we knew it was that special of an occasion, we would have probably chosen something other than a White Claw. I would have maybe like brought some, I don't know, decent bourbon or something for everybody.
I actually, the feedback, I did get some shit about that. Yeah, White Claws, really? And then I guess I said
the people's drink.
I love the smell of White Claw in the morning, so people quoted that back to me.
That's funny.
I mean, Alex is a big White Claw guy, so he was like,
I'm soft and supple, leave me alone.
We probably would have got out like a bourbon of some type and then been completely shit wrecked by the end of it because we would have finished it.
We should have got the
It would have been a race.
Yeah, it would have been a very big race.
Nick is still just slamming it.
That would have been a harder exception now. We're only drinking 3 bottles of bourbon, so I had to count the number of White Claws, which we miscounted, but
the only person to ever say 8.
The special 8-pack.
So what is it now? After that, it's like, okay, hey, do we normalize that, or is that like more people at the Pentagon?
Like the podcast, right?
Yeah. Well, like podcast, anything at the Pentagon is like, okay, hey, let's start introducing this media for the military aspect of it.
So we haven't, but General George is like, we just made a big announcement. Hopefully, we're going to talk about that here today, but we just made a big announcement, probably the most fundamental change of our lifetimes for the Army. And General George is like, get me on a bunch of podcasts. And Secretary Driscoll's right behind. And so, that's the way he's thinking, at least. And we're trying to help him. But look, one of the reasons I'm on here today is to try to set the example for people that do my job. You're allowed to, literally, the first thing in my title is public. So public affairs officers, be public, talk to the people, talk to the media. We've got public affairs, very senior ranking public affairs officers that you can never find a quote from them, or you can never find a place where they've ever been public. And they continue to rise up the ranks. And that's not the whole job, but that's certainly part of the job. I mean, literally, it says it in our job title. So one of the reasons I'm here is like, try to set the example for the whole field. Get out there, talk to people.
How the hell do you do a public PR job and not
public?
That's like how you not public in a public affairs.
Because they put their bosses in front. They're like, I can't answer this question, but General George can, or whatever. And he keeps us close enough where we can answer any questions. Alex has been, for the past week and a half, he's been on the Hill answering questions to Congress as a representative of General George.
It's been very fun. I've enjoyed every moment of it.
It'd be terrifying. Sorry, I would not do that. Like that, I got to speak from somebody else, and if I fuck up, it's for them.
Yeah. But, so that's a good point. That's something that we're always afraid of. Is, hey, what if I'm wrong? Okay, there is this very bad sort of mentality that you can never be wrong, and that's not true. So one of the things I actually learned from Dave was, if you're wrong and it's not on purpose, it's okay, we can fix it. If you don't know, that's the problem. And I think that's what Dave's hitting at. Like a lot of the public affairs, and I'm a technologist, right? So my job is to make sure I know and help. People who are uninformed are the ones that are not actually helping. So if they don't go out there and they say, hey, this is why we're doing it, then they're afraid to be in public. They're afraid to get out front. And then they put their bosses in a terrible position, because then they go, hey, my boss knows, and we don't know if that's true.
Yeah. I go on about it for days. Yeah.
Go on.
Well, the other thing is like we get, and this is like traditional media, but we get plenty of questions, right, to the Army, and everything is email. Everything is some curated response via email, and there's a couple of great public affairs officers who I lean on, and as soon as we get any question from the media, pick up the phone, go meet that person, explain the whole context. You want to talk to me on the record? And people are like, you mean by name? Sure, I'll talk to you on the record. It's just a super surprise. But we should be proud about the stuff we're doing. I mean, we're doing, especially now, we're doing some friggin' amazing things. And so I'm like, yes, on the record, let's talk about it. Let's, give me some of your time, because I'm going to tell you what the Army's doing. And I don't know, we're doing good shit, so.
I think that, like, Brandon, coming from your side, was that ever scary for you? It's like, hey, you spoke for yourself that entire campaign, so it was always
yeah. When I did the politics thing,
yeah,
not really, just because I don't know. It's a very similar culture where people are afraid to not know things, and so I did my homework. Like, I knew a decent bit about what I was talking about, like the major core issues, and I did something where most people do their little stump speech and then they leave. I did like 5 minutes of this is who I am, this is what I think. Do you guys have questions? I did almost entirely Q&A.
That's it.
Which I thrive in that, because I feel like people stop paying attention after 5-10 minutes anyway. And then if they engage back and forth and you're actually answering questions and not ducking them, that's way better. And I wasn't afraid. If somebody would ask me about some particular agriculture bill that I wasn't familiar with, I'd be like, hey, I don't know the answer to that question yet, but I can find it for you. Mm-hmm. Like, this is broad strokes. This is what I believe, but I'm not familiar with that particular bill. Would you mind telling me about it?
Yeah.
And it's something they taught us a long time ago, or at least they taught me a long time ago, was one of the most powerful things you can do as a leader is say, admit you don't know. Because too many people, you get into the bullshit cycle. It's like people will just make up answers if they think it's what you want to hear.
Yeah.
So it's been good.
I think it helps people trust you too.
Agreed.
Yeah, where you're just like, I'm not afraid to admit that I don't know the answer to that.
Especially about like niche or complex topics. And that's so Dave talked about like this big announcement that we did as the Army. There's a lot of complex topics in there in terms of things that we're going to stop and things that we want to do, and like the technology ecosystem and how we want to engage and like how we actually take care of soldiers. Some of it, like, we have a lot of good data and analysis. There's a reason why we're doing it. We know this. Some of it, there's unintended consequences that are going to pop up, and frankly, the Secretary and the Chief, so Secretary Driscoll and General George, have said, we're going to fight through this. Sometimes something's going to pop up, we'll figure it out. And that's why, again, I've been on the Hill for the last couple of weeks. I'll be on the Hill again tomorrow. Some of it's just explaining to our board of directors, Congress, hey, here's what's happening and why. And if these things happen, we'll figure that out.
Yep. You could overstaff. You could wait for it until you have every detail, all the answers, whatever. Secretary Driscoll, General George said, nope, let's go public. Let's go to the Hill. We're making these changes, and there's still plenty of things we need to figure out. So we're figuring them out.
That'd be the hardest part with that is in the military side, some of that stuff is outdated and people hate change. That's the one thing I do remember is change is terrifying in the military. And it's like, no, we need these very ancient equipment. We'll just keep it going and spend way too much on it. But you guys are actually the first ones who are like, hey, let's...
What if we didn't?
The soldiers don't hate change.
No, soldiers...
They're like, why are we still doing this dumb shit? So... they're ready for the change, and that's what's great about it. When we were just at JRTC. Was it last week?
It was last week.
Last week. And, man, the soldiers out there, because we gave them all the new shit, and they're like, this is freaking awesome. They're figuring out, they're teaching us on how they're going to use it and what's good, what's not. So they're ready for change. It's, we talked about it a little bit last time, the defense industrial complex, the big primes, the congressional districts. Those folks don't want to change. There's interests that they're trying to protect, and
it's money. There's lots and lots of money involved.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
And like one of the coolest things I got to see is I went down to JRTC down in southern Louisiana early, just so I could be embedded with 1st Brigade 101st for a little bit of time. I showed you the infantry squad vehicle. So that new thing, it's a General Motors defense. It's a Chevy Colorado that's been militarized with a Hendrick chassis. It looks like the Warthog from Halo.
Yeah.
It is awesome.
Wait, what?
So infantry squad vehicle.
It really did.
Yeah. So
Right?
So
It's badass, right?
It's a troop carrier.
You see it, Cody?
Yeah, he showed it to me a minute ago.
There's a 5-seat variant and a 9-seat variant.
Dude, that would do good against IEDs.
Well,
You ever have any bad habits?
Yeah, I've had bad habits. What are we doing it now?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
If you're part of the 50% of people who try to quit vaping each year, well, you're going to have to equip yourself with the right tools for the job. Right, Cody?
Is it fume? Eli, can you tell me about fume?
Well, one thing is, it has 0 nicotine.
You can fidget with it.
Give it to me, let me fidget. Fidget.
Twisty barrel.
Twisty barrel.
There's no better tool to break that bad habit other than this episode's sponsor.
Fume, the award-winning flavored air device used by 500,000 people. Wow. And it's backed by lab-tested safety studies. So both doctors and customers agree.
Fume is a good habit, and it's 1/3 of the cost of your bad habit.
Boo to bad habits, not fume.
Bad habits.
It also has an airflow dial.
I'm a minty person, so I found the crisp mint light and refreshing.
I like grapefruit.
Eli, how do we start our guilt-free journey with the good habit?
By using code UNSUB to get a free gift with any purchase. And finally, begin that overdue breakup.
Just go to tryfume.com/unsub. That's TRYFUM.com/unsub.
And use code UNSUB to start a good habit today.
Clicky barrel.
Code UNSUB! Head over there now.
Oh, so it's not an ID vehicle, right? So we have heavy vehicles, unless we make it a robot.
IEDs to go right through.
Yeah, exactly.
They go so
One and
fast.
after the other.
They just go so fast. But like, it's supposed to replace the Humvee, and my dad got fielded Humvees in 1988, like as one of the first units. So, but we're still building and buying them now, and we just want to replace it with cooler vehicles that are super light, super cheap, right? So we pay about $150 for those, $150K.
These probably rip compared to so for anyone out there, Brandon, have you rode in like an actual like up armored Humvee?
Yeah.
It's fucking terrible. Oh, dude, like 0 to 60 in I think 8 hours. Yeah,
4 guys maybe.
Yeah.
Like this.
It feels like you're entering the atmosphere once you hit highway speed. It is the worst thing in the world. The
And how much-
Strikers are faster.
How much does the Army pay for a Humvee? Like a shitty Humvee like that?
I think it's $300K.
Yeah, it's. I remember it being
without
fucking
the
stupid.
up armor.
Yeah.
But the coolest thing is I got to drive with the convoy going from Alexandria Airport to the box on the interstate, and you just see a line of those, and it's just paratroopers. Like some of them are under nods, some of them aren't. Like it's just guys driving a truck because it's a Colorado that's been militarized.
Yeah.
And we can pump them out, and they come off the same production line as the normal truck, and they're easy to get. They can be repaired anywhere in the world, and we don't have to keep the 40-year-old thing just because we kept buying it.
Better vehicle for half the price.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we're not fighting from the infantry squad vehicle. We're just mobile.
dope.
We're moving around the battlefield. The
people?
new battlefield
Almost 9.
calls for mass mobility, right? So if you can see everywhere on the battlefield, if you can see, you can hit it, and so the survivable thing about the battlefield is by staying low signature and moving very fast, and that's why we have these. That's where we're fielding these vehicles. So you can, we're going to put this across a whole division. You'll be able to move a division. You guys are just watching.
Yeah, we're watching the
videos?
robotic ISV.
Oh yeah.
So we
Yeah,
took.
That's a cool story.
So we went to California. We went to the Valley, and we said, "Hey, what if we took one of these companies and we gave you an ISV? Could you turn into a robot in 10 days?" And that's 10 days. And they said, "We'll see what we can do." And once we got it, we were like, "We don't know what to do with this thing." So we went, "Hey, let's give it to a unit. 1st Brigade 101st is going to the box. Give it to them. They'll figure it out." First thing they said, I love them because it was the exact same idea that I had. They were like, we'll put C4 on it and we'll use it as a breaching asset. And I was like, yeah.
I like how it's like, cool, it's a remote control bomb.
Yeah.
Methinks whoever was in the 101st at the time played a lot of Battlefield back in the day.
Methinks you're right.
Well, the problem was I was like, that's the exact same that I thought of. Oh my God, don't blow up my vehicle. And they came up with some cool things. They did resupplies. They had it go through wadis. Like, it was just a cool experiment to watch a robotic vehicle and us enable that. They fit on the back of a Chinook. You can sling load them.
They just
that's
fit
cool.
right in there. That's gangster
It's
shit.
almost like we thought that through.
Yeah. Yeah.
The Ranger Regiment took the top of it. They put a 360 gun turret on there, and they put a gunner up top, no cupola, so it's super light. So it's just a good, light, cheap vehicle that we can put anywhere in the world, and it can drive anywhere. In fact, when the hurricanes hit North Carolina last year, a lot of the roads washed out, and like North Carolina is still home for me, so it was personal. Humvees couldn't get there, and the National Guard has Humvees, and the Guard's doing amazing work all over the world, but the ISVs could. So we deployed the 82nd and the 101st for hurricane relief. And their ISVs were the things that could get them there.
Put a bunch of paratroopers together, give them ISVs, and give them Starlink, and it's pretty amazing.
And
they can accomplish.
They can solve anything.
Yeah,
and drones.
That's what we did.
Like
in North
find
Carolina.
people. It was awesome.
Yeah.
We had like the Strikers were way faster than the Humvees. That's the one thing I true. And you're looking at how much does a Striker weigh? 120,000 pounds.
Oh, it's more than that with all the up armor and all the reactive armor and everything.
Like 200,000 pounds, like fat bitches, but they ran like.
But
you could
they had great
rip
personalities.
in those. Oh yeah,
Not the ones in Austin.
yeah. Get inside the torta.
Back door opens up.
I love those fucking things. We gotta have fun with them. It was like yes.
The no utility waddling vehicle.
Still talking about the Striker, right?
Yeah.
The Striker had a big following of contractors, FSRs, field service reps, and so it's contract madness. We had all these contracts built. Yes, we'll buy a bunch of Strikers, but what was it, GD or who makes them?
Yes.
Yeah, General Dynamics.
Yep.
Fields a bunch of contractors with them, and so we can't fix our own freaking vehicles.
So let me give you an example. So, and General George tells the story very eloquently. If you wanted to weld something to your Striker, let's say you wanted just like a new ruck mount, or like put your AT4s on the side of it.
Like non-commissioned officers can think of anything. Like let them fuck with the Striker a little bit.
You can't. Like you legally can't because of the contract that we had. So if one of your maintenance guys who is a certified welder and a mechanic cannot weld to the side of that because of a contract that we signed probably right at the start of GWAT.
So is that why? Like, I remember when they added the V mount or the
double V hole.
The V holes. So one of the issues when these first hit is IEDs. They were soft Under Armour, so you had the bird cage on the side. It would stop RPGs. And some IED blast, but underneath was just a problem.
Well, because if you know anything about directional explosives, you basically just created a bowl to absorb the IED instead of deflect it. Yep. So you made it worse, essentially.
Yeah. And they had
turned into a shape charge.
Yeah, literally.
100%.
So we had to actually bring them on base, and then they were down for I think it was like a week. While all the units or our battalion had the V holes put in. So it's like, hey, look, they take blasts better now from underneath. You don't have to worry about that. But that was months into the deployment,
and it was.
I didn't realize that we couldn't touch them physically. That's why we had to drop them off.
Which is also why when you put the bird cages on there, or like the bag of bolts, you'll hear that term now for like the drone problem. Most of the solutions that our soldiers come up with, given like the boundary condition, you can't weld on this, they're super simple. Like here's literally a sandbag full of bolts, so that if something explodes, the kinetic energy goes out through the bolts because we can't weld it, we can't put new stuff on there.
That's why we would wrap it in the netting. So no shit, and
So-
then we
so
would
it'd
just
catch
put and then we'd put the bulletproof glass on the sides
Exactly.
for the. I always wondered why we did that shittily.
Dr.
That
Alex
makes way
Miller,
more
everybody.
sense. I was like, wow, we're just soldiers. That makes sense.
You're solving problems given a condition.
We would just put bulletproof glass where the VC would stand up and do patrols because you're just like at that, and then you would just do a camo net wrap around the top.
Yep. It's like Pope Mobile light. like just put the bulletproof.
Yeah,
glass
and
there.
it wasn't meant to stop anything. It was just so if you're getting a sniper, they can't see. Hopefully, they can't see your silhouette through the sniper net, and you're still like standing up in the hellhole. You're never down. You have 4 people up at any given time when you're riding around. So you're just like, oh, we'll do this, and then we'll look around, and that's it. But you do a sniper net around it and just hope for the best.
All this so Raytheon's arrow stays green.
Yeah, up.
Yeah. Stonks. Yeah.
Oh, yes, stonks, which brings to our sponsor.
Oh, no.
BlackRock.
There's like, God.
I mean, you know, it wasn't. It was like a minute in before we got into the interest in congressional districts and stuff. I mean, look, something we need to talk about.
It's true facts.
Yeah, true facts. So
That's the stuff I'm like, ooh.
yep.
I tip my hat to all of y'all for doing that shit still. I don't know how you guys do that.
I'm not addicted. It's fine.
Well, so we
I can quit anytime I want.
we've been trying. General George in the year and a half, almost 2 years. He's been the chief. We've been trying to cancel stuff, and Secretary Driscoll, new in the administration, come on board, and he's like, "We're canceling it."
Just do it.
And you've got people we want him to make informed decisions. We're like, okay, but so and so is going to be super mad. This congressional district's going to be affected. We're going to have to explain this to Congress. We're going to have to do this. Going to have to do that. And then there's trade-offs. And he's like, nope, screw it. We're doing what's right for the soldier, first time, and we're not going to fucking change.
We're not going to backpedal.
And I'm like, okay, I'm in. I'm in. So.
Because, I mean, in
great.
your career, how long have you ever seen that before? In, 20, 25, 30 years?
No, I mean, I was a real soldier before this. So I haven't been in the Pentagon that long. But I'll just use the example of canceling the FARA. What the hell does that stand for?
Future Attack Reconnaissance Aircraft.
Yeah. So we canceled this $1 billion program.
My brain is full of memes and acronyms.
About 8 months ago or something.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And instead of taking all that money, it was billions of dollars into the future, and that's a hard thing to cancel. So credit to our last set of bosses. But instead of taking all that money and investing it in stuff that we know soldiers need, drones and network,
drones, robots,
AI, robots, we put it back into our old ass helicopters because the FARA was going to be made in a certain congressional district. So yes.
So we traded.
We cancel FARA because that's what's best for the future of the Army. So we're all celebrating. But we're taking all that money and we're putting it into old ass helicopters. And so that was a trade-off, right, that we do. And this secretary and this chief is the trade-off is going to the soldier.
Yep.
So
that was
great.
$7 billion that we wanted to create to buy all the G-Wiz future stuff to make sure that soldiers had the best stuff. And 6 or 6.8 of it we had to go back and reinvest to make sure everybody was whole.
And when you say G-Wiz,
a very technical term. So things like we know that FPV drones are all over Ukraine. We've seen them in Gaza and in Israel. Being able to just buy those and stand up production lines, because most of the stuff they're using overseas are Chinese parts and we can't buy that. We don't want to subsidize the CCP. So how do we buy in America or build in America? Investing in the American industrial base to do that. Buying things like ground robots. So if I don't want a soldier to ever have to go through a breach first. That's silly. We all know what the fatal funnel is. Hey, let's trade blood for steel and make sure it's their blood. And let's spend the money and buy the robots to do that. Let's make sure that all the camo kit, because we've all had a 117 Golf fail on us or a 152. How about we just buy the right things and we outfit the rest of the Army? Get smaller plates so that you're more maneuverable, because we all had plate carriers because the IBA with the Spalders and the crotch pad and the looks super cool, but
it does not. I never put that on. I was like, man, I look so dope right now.
I'm gonna get
Eli with the mirror picture.
I was like, I'm fucking so hot right now. I'm so sweaty.
But
the cock pad I would always wear.
Well, yeah.
Did
you got to
100%.
protect the crown jewels.
That was it. We never wore the
couldn't bring
neck
myself
drill
to
or
do that.
the shoulders.
You didn't want the
This,
biceps?
not important. This,
Very
extremely
important. If this is gone, I can still...
I didn't even wear plates. I just wore that.
Just to look cool. No.
If I die, I die.
But like the level 4 armor, it's very heavy. But like, how do we get the smaller ones? Like, how do we invest in that, in the materials and the compounds, and how do we buy that at the Army scale instead of just spending money on stuff we don't need? I'll give you another one. So we always talk about FAR because that was a multi-billion-dollar thing, but there was this other system called the Shadow, developed in the
know the Shadow.
Yeah,
that sounds super familiar.
the UAV. It's like this long.
The big ass motherfuckers.
The flying
We tried
lawnmower.
to chuck one. You throw them, right?
No, so that's the Puma and the Raven.
Puma.
So you're
The
thinking
Raven.
So Raven was like this, Puma was like this, Shadow was like wide as a table, and it had a rail, and you had to like yeet it off to get it to go, or it had to have a runway.
Yeah, we chucked one and then it ate
She
shit.
immediately lawnmowed it,
They
yeah.
were like, fuck.
We call them the flying lawnmowers.
Because you could hear it.
Yeah.
And the problem is they could hear it too. So you would see like FMV.
Wait, the enemy could hear it?
And they'd be like, you'd see like 2 dudes walking, all of a sudden they'd be like, and they start running. So last year we were going to spend $77 million to keep those things alive to pay for 53 people.
Oh, God.
And we were like, hey, like this seems like low hanging fruit. What if we just didn't waste that taxpayer dollars? What if we just didn't? What if we bought quadcopters for a couple units? And everybody lost their minds. Like,
$500. Like, how much is a fucking drone?
Okay, so like
American-made drone.
yeah. So if we buy one, like,
Chinese drone's super cheap.
yeah. So like one of ours, very hardened, like GPS denied. Like you can do these things will fly anywhere. They're almost quiet. So like you could fly it over there and you couldn't hear it here. Like it's actually super quiet. The ones that we buy, they're 30 to 50,000.
Yeah. But they're EW hardened, so that you can't jam them.
Like all the
shit.
lessons we learned from Russia.
Yeah.
But even as that's still
That
you know,
price tag
10
needs to come
times
down.
less than the other stuff that we're buying.
And it's going to come down with higher production. So
Yeah, of course. Anyway. That's fucking wild.
Cody, do you want better sex?
I love better sex.
Do you want to start having better sex immediately?
Can our new sponsor, Adam and Eve, help us with that?
That's right. Dump your girlfriend's. You want better sex? Start over.
Who needs a real person? The best way to get started is head on over to adamandeve.com right now.
This website's so great.
Adam and Eve is offering 50% off just about any item.
Cody, look what I got for 50% off.
Whoa!
Wanna f them?
Just like all Adam and Eve orders, does it include free shipping and rush processing?
Cody, can I see you with these tits on?
Don't want your neighbors to see that you're getting the Gapinator 10,000? They offer discreet shipping.
My tits are lopsided.
They're a little wonky, buddy.
Cody, did you see this toy I ordered? It's called the Green Goblin.
Was it sent discreetly for free and fast?
It was. And then my neighbors judged me because I opened it on the front lawn. Cody, don't wait. Better sex is just a click away.
Lick me, daddy. So how do we get 50% off that one item with free shipping and rush processing?
Just head over to adamandeve.com. Pick out a single toy or anything you desire. And then just enter code UNSUB at checkout.
Code UNSUB, UNSUB?
Dude, why is that so weird? Like when you say it.
It doesn't sound right.
No. Yes, that's right. Unsub. That's UNSUB over at adamandeve.com.
This is a specific offer for this podcast, so be sure to use the code UNSUB
To get your discount.
to get your discount.
Spice up the bedroom by bringing more pleasure and satisfaction to it.
Wish I could satisfy my partner.
I'm sorry.
Can you teach me?
Adam and Eve can.
Cody f***ed me.
Still,
That
you know,
price tag
10
needs to come
times
down.
less than the other stuff that we're buying.
And it's going to come down with higher production. So
Yeah, of course. Anyway. That's fucking wild. And again, how much were the originals?
So we were just going to spend hundreds of millions. We were going to spend $77 million for 53 maintainers,
yeah.
like around the world.
And speaking of maintainers, what was the operational readiness rate, Alex?
The highest it had ever been was 53%.
So only 53% of those drones were capable of flying at any one time because the maintenance sucked on them. Anyway, the
We're
flying
so
lawnmower.
proficient, dude. That's as quiet as they are?
Yep. And you can see, like, you can see where he launched it from.
Oh, these are literally like DJI drones.
Hey, not,
They're not
DJI.
They're whatever they are.
Well, not only do we want to not subsidize the CCP, but there are very real scenarios where potentially having Chinese supply chains are a bad fucking idea.
Very bad.
Go figure. Maybe like not our enemy could be controlling the supply chain for all the stuff that we would use against not our enemy.
Yeah, especially if they. Never mind.
Yeah.
Warfare got terrifying with those things. That's the one thing I will say. We watch the frontline combat footage. That is the most terrifying thing that has been. I don't think anyone's seen it going that way.
Yeah,
70% of casualties right now in Ukraine, Russia are from drones.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
It's scary. You'll see the guys just sit there and they'll see the drone, they'll just accept it. And it's like,
yeah, and they're shooting down. Half of the drones they're shooting down are their own drones because there's, we don't have mechanisms right now to do airspace management and figure out, like if you're an infantryman and there's a drone flying over,
Are you risking it?
pretty sure I'm gonna shoot it.
yeah.
Unless you know specifically it's your drone, and so.
I didn't even think of that. There's not like Blue Force trackers being like, hey, this is one you're in your battle space. You know exactly where it is.
But instead of developing like these big standalone systems where you need a truck and a big server and a satellite to figure all that out, we're building apps to be able to do that. So,
You said apps?
apps.
Okay.
Yeah, everything is app. Everything. This kind of sounds. There's an iPhone. You don't have 11 iPhones, do you? To do 11 different things. So in the Army, we have 11 iPhones, but they're not just iPhones; they're trucks by themselves with servers and groups of soldiers that have to run things. Our Army, what we're invested in now, is everything is application based, and sits on one network, so that soldiers aren't lugging around a whole bunch of shit, and we don't have extra soldiers doing all this extra stuff. Sorry, we had a separate app conversation.
You're good.
No, we were just showing cool stuff.
Showing me the battle space with the. That's a fucking
trying to manage
nightmare.
all of the drones in the airspace.
You're on patrol and you're like, well, is that mine? I don't know. It's one of those. I hope.
I'm overstimulated.
Get the 3-gun shotgun out.
Yeah.
Oh, that's been one of my favorite things is the return of the combat shotgun.
Number one drone killer.
Yeah.
Because there was a while where there was a legitimate conversation where it's like, aside from breaching, does the shotgun still have a role?
I remember that
And
conversation.
then here comes DJI. Or
Well,
these ones are.
It's DJI.
Yeah.
If we're shooting a shotgun, and it's probably DJI.
Are they still using the OG for whatever the Army's new shotgun, or is it going towards like that 3-gun style? Because I figure it'd be like a 3-gun style shotgun, so it's just speed ready, high, tube capacity, 12 rounds,
And long barrel, because
Yeah.
like you can't have a short barrel and maintain any level of accuracy. And they're using birdshot, right?
And the light as shit.
Really? Birdshot? Interesting. I heard a conversation, and I wasn't sure if it was true or not. They said they were using buckshot because birdshot wasn't doing enough damage to the drones, but I'm not sure.
So it depends on how close you are, and this just gets into like weird mechanics. If you think about like how cheap some of the drones are, if you can just knock off one of the rotors, it'll fly off and just crash out. If it's super close and you can actually hit it with buckshot while they're maneuvering, you just kill it there, hit it right main body. But the birdshot gives you a higher probability of hitting one of the rotors.
Interesting.
Oh shit. No tech. I love it.
Right. Well, I mean, one of our
new battlefield.
Yeah, one of our guys, and he's super smart. E5 type, just like, hey, how I would counter drones is, if you look at a quadcopter, you got 4 very powerful electromagnets on there, and that's the rotors. Like, just throw ferrous sand at it, like just like T-shirt tube, sand, and it'll suck it up into the motor and just chew up the motor.
That's smart.
Right?
Soldiers come up with good shit all the time.
And bad shit.
Yeah.
There's a
T-shirt tube, drone, T-shirt tube.
What is actually, for you, what is some of the dumb privates? You had to deal with some dumbass soldiers, dog.
Probably not ripe for a public.
Damn it.
Yeah.
I want to know if, there's this one guy.
Yeah, public affairs talking shit about his.
You gotta love them though, right?
All of them. So much.
It's all very good.
Yeah. There's well, you guys had Vern Daly on when we were in the Pentagon.
Yep.
Sergeant Major. He was my first sergeant when I was company commander.
Oh, no shit.
Man, we had some good times. Yeah, he was a great guy.
Dude, all those guys were fantastic.
Yeah.
It was still who's the individual with that was like stacked? He was like Scuba, Combat, or Halo.
Mullen X probably.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the one.
Captain America.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why I was like, that was my first reaction seeing the stack. I was like, Jesus Christ, guys.
There's a bit where me and Cody, I'm just like, and you just lean forward and you go,
Instantly.
He's also just, he's very well spoken. So he was one of the guys that we went to the Hill as we rolled out this Army transformation thing. So one thing I appreciate about the team that we have between Mike Weimer, the Sergeant Major of the Army, the Chief, the Secretary, is like the team is just so high performing. Like you have a bunch of smart people who have done a lot of really cool stuff, and he's one of them.
Those guys are like, the entire chain of command seems extremely stacked are very overqualified, which is fantastic. I was not expecting that. Like, period. It was an awesome change. It was like, okay, these dudes. And even Roma Shea speaks so highly of General Jorge. That's what he calls him. He's like, what's Jorge doing? What's Randy Jorge doing?
would love to know the context behind that.
I think Dave and I can do that once.
Well, he just had a grandkid, and so there was about 24 hours where I was calling him GG. Hey, GG. And he was like, no.
Okay, that one's done. Okay.
Yeah, but Roma Shea speaks so highly of him as a leader. He's like, that dude is one of the first dudes, or one of the only dudes that had his back, even when they got into that. I think when he got into that battle space, he was one of the few leadership that was like, hey, this is a stupid fucking base.
That's right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Keaton. Yep.
You know what Keaton? It's in the bowl.
Yeah.
No,
Read it.
General George was like, this is what? Why?
Yeah.
Why? And they're still like, no, it was strategic until it wasn't strategic.
That's right. And at the time, he was Colonel George.
Yep.
And there was a bunch of generals that were like, "What are you talking about, Colonel? You can't move those operating bases or outposts." And he was like, "Just did."
LOL.
Yeah.
Literally the deal with it sunglasses.
So, but that's what he's doing now. You can't cut that program. Just did.
That's where you're wrong, Bucko.
Watch this.
It was funny because you talk about your team and like the team that you've got, like the guys that are just very well spoken, very articulate, and good people to have with you shoulder to shoulder in the Capitol. We saw a couple pictures of you guys in the Capitol having to go before Congress, and you guys looked like you were having a fucking ball. I recognize the look. How about that?
I have had to do, and the other person that's not here is Colonel Molly Salisbury. So she's my battle buddy on the Hill, and all of us have known each other for a long time from some other units.
Intel officer, special operations background. We grew up together doing all this stuff. So,
but we had to go do the House Armed Services Committee. I'll be with the Senate Armed Services Committee tomorrow. The House oversight for the hack and the SAC, so Armed Services Committees, and it was great. It was great. So the members have actually all been like super supportive. The members of Congress, the elected members of Congress, have all said, "Okay, like I understand why you're doing it. You clearly have a lot of passion here. You've clearly made some decisions.
It's clearly the right thing
for the Army. Yeah. Like right thing for the Army, right thing for the country. Okay. What we've been doing is going and briefing the staff. So the professional staff members who help write laws, right? So it's like anything." They're the ones that are putting pen to paper and then taking it to their bosses. And then the military legislative assistants, who are sort of like supposed to be their connective tissue to the military. They're the ones that think that they're going to grill us and like, hey, what are you doing and why? And have you thought about this? And those engagements, some of them have been great because we've been priming the pump on some of these things for a while. Some of them have been straight up knife fights on like, you can't do that. And we're going, hey, we're doing the right thing for soldiers. Like, you cannot tell us to keep buying these things just because. We're going to tell you, no, it's not the right thing. We're going to try a whole bunch of other things. It's Ben Franklin. Like, I know 10,000 ways that are wrong. I haven't found the right thing yet, but all of these things are wrong. You have to give us the freedom to do the right thing for soldiers. So that's really it's been a weird dichotomy of, hey, the members are all like, go forth and do the right thing. The White House has said, go forth and do the right thing. The SecDef has said, you will do the right thing. And our leadership has said, here's what the right thing looks like. And then working through the people's representatives has been a fun challenge.
I'm really glad you brought that up, because I think most Americans would be shocked to know how much of the country is run by unelected legislative aides. It's terrifying.
What do you mean by that?
It means, so you have a member of Congress, okay, he goes forward, he does the votes, whatnot, but the actual bills being written, different committee stuff, all that's done by like 8 to 10 people in his office that are there to read through the bills, to write the bills, whatever. They have more power than you would ever fucking think. That's why it was so important. I was warned, like, hey, if I got the job, like, you need to pick these people fucking carefully because they run your office.
Yeah.
And that's not something I think most people know.
And they know the system, they know how to do it. You know, it's very complicated bureaucracy, and you need people who know how to get things done within the bureaucracy to do it. And so, you know, you can't. I was just reminded by General George, actually. You just can't burn it all down. You have to make the bureaucracy work. You have to force it to work. I know, it was my plan too. Yeah. But yeah, so
I'm going home.
At face value, people see what we're doing and they're like, of course. Yeah. Modern battlefield, Ukraine, Israel, we're seeing it all over the world. Of course, modernize the army, transform the army, stop doing old dumb shit. So it's just a challenge.
And it's been interesting to educate people. The Army, the oldest service, 250 years this year.
Birthday coming up.
We have the smallest budget of any military department. So there's 3 military departments, Air Force, Navy, Army. We have the smallest budget. So we represent 21% of the defense budget. That's it.
What would you attribute that to?
Aren't
Just that there's more expensive projects like aircraft
big
carriers
platforms.
and
So
stuff.
so
that's right.
Okay, so just to get technical on how we do things, like the Navy and the Air Force buy platforms and then they man platforms. They buy boats and they put people on boats.
Ships.
The Army, no.
Never touch those.
Yeah, don't touch our boats. I'll stand up for the Navy. Don't touch our boats. You flip it. The Army builds formations, and then we equip formations. We buy stuff for our troopers. And therefore, the way that we argue for our budget is just we have the smallest one. We don't have huge capital assets like a aircraft carrier, like a Zumwalt, like a B-21, like the F-47. So the way that we do it is just differently. The second part of that is it's really hard to describe the scale of the Army without sounding like there's too much Army. So the Navy says, hey, we have 300 some odd hulls, like they count it in terms of ships. The Air Force says we have X number of tails. The Army says we have 1 million people. That sounds like a lot. Well, that's the entire Guard, that's the Reserve, that's the active component, that's literally everyone. Well, so during GWOT, we started saying, well, we have 50 some brigades. That still sounds like a lot, especially when it's 6,000 pissed off soldiers who just want to go do wreck things and do the things for the country.
Hey, Brandon, do you have Cash App?
Brendan, I asked you a fucking question.
No, Eli, what's that?
Do you have Cash App, Brandon?
How did you do that?
Brandon, anything's possible when you use Cash App.
Okay.
Moving money should be easy, Brandon. That's why there's Cash App.
Wow, this is really easy to use. I have it now. Don't hit me again.
Cash App is fast, safe, and way more personalized than the other apps out there.
No extra hoops to jump through, no extra stress. All the tools are right there to help you cash in.
Plus, sending money through Cash App actually feels safe and secure.
If something seems sketchy or there's like red flags that you might be sending your money to a scammer, they let you know. They'll give you a warning and make you think twice before hitting send. It's like having a bodyguard for your cash. Send your buddy some money with the eggplant emoji.
My favorite.
Make his friends think twice.
Brandon, what are these 3 drops of water and an eggplant mean?
It's a tip for good service.
I like tips. Just a tip.
Just the tip.
And for whatever reason, if you don't have Cash App, just head over to your phone app store and download it today and use code UNSUB10.
And if you send $5 to a friend, you get $10 deposited in your account just for getting started.
Send Brandon $5. His number is 3. New Cash App users can use our exclusive code to earn some additional cash. Legit for reals? No catch.
Just download Cash App and use our code UNSUB10. Send $5 to a friend within 14 days, and you'll get $10 dropped right into your account.
That's money. That's Cash App.
So the way that we fight for the budget is a little different. And the way that we describe it is a little different. And then we focus so much on stuff that we sometimes just get wed to this stuff. So we get wed to Humvees. We get wed to the M4, which I love. Like, M4 is great. And it's a different battle when we go to the Hill and say, hey, we want to really change.
Yeah, but to be clear, this change, and we're not on unsubscribe for this reason, we're not asking for any more money.
Yeah,
we've
that's
got
exactly
a budget, and General George and the Secretary have been like, we don't want more money, guys. We'll keep the money we have. We just want to be able to spend it
more efficiently.
in an efficient and responsible way.
And what they mean by that is...
Wait, so you get restricted on how you can spend that?
Yeah. So the Army's...
Let me tell you, we get restricted. Yeah. Budget lines.
Yeah.
Back in...
Wait, they give you the money and then like...
No, they give you the money, and then across, I think, 1,900 budget lines, it used to be 6. We get told exactly how to spend every dollar.
So if you're a budget nerd, the Army's budget this year was about $185 billion, which sounds like a lot because it is.
It is a lot of damn money.
55% of that, immediately locked. It's mil pay, civ pay. So we want to make sure
Paying
we pay our soldiers,
soldiers,
make sure we
paying
pay our civilians. Another 25% of that is immutable. It's congressional direction. You will spend this money in this direction. The rest of it is what is our spending money. It's our discretionary funds. So that goes into like the programs like Shadow, programs like Humvee, programs like Next Gen Squad Weapon.
But that was planned 5 years ago.
But it was planned 5 years ago because we had to guess at what we wanted to spend in this year. And then, so the budget line items, it's a technical term. So think about if you're at your home.
I'm sure you planned all this 5 years ago.
Exactly.
Oh, it was, dude, so far ahead. We were like, dude, 3 years ago, it's like, we got the Pentagon in 2024.
There you go.
Yeah. And if you need a new camera, obviously you'll just say, I'll buy one in 5 years.
Yeah. And you'll plan to buy the thing that exists right now in 5 years.
That camera,
That one. I'm budgeting that.
Every good company is revered on its ability to maneuver 5 years at a time.
Yeah, exactly.
Flat and fast. Yeah.
But it's
fucking wild.
It is. And again,
20% of the budgets are just going to be like, fucking guess, dude.
But it's surprising how much the American people don't know. Like, they think that we waste a lot of money, and we do. But it's because like we don't have a lot of rules.
Capture that part.
I like you're like.
Well, but think about it. You hear the stories like the Air Force just got caught up in this weird thing about the soap dispensers on the C-17s.
Yeah,
and they were just like, we were paying 1,700% markup on the soap dispensers. Well, that's
what?
So this is a real thing.
Are they good?
No, so the same ones that you find in like the fucking Buc-ee's bathroom. It's the same soap dispenser, but because of the way that we are told to spend our money, someone had to plan that, and all of the engineering overhead to design, I hope I can screw these two things into the C-17, that gets added to the cost. So by the time that we have to buy it, this might be $3 if I go to the gas station. It's going to be $300 because of all the overhead that we add. When we talk about, hey, I want to spend my money better, I literally go, hey, I can buy that in the consumer market. It's probably okay to use it a couple times. I know that I'm taking risk. I just want to spend the same dollars that I can out of uniform that our soldiers can in uniform. And when you hear about the $700 hammer or the $500 toilet seat cover, like all of these like terrible military procurement stories from the 50s, 60s, 70s, there's a reason. It's not a good reason, but it exists, and that's what we're trying to burn through and break down.
Mm-hmm. That's where you get that bag of bolts. It's like one of those running.
Soldiers find. It's like Jurassic Park. Like soldiers find a way because of all the dumb conditions that have been put like on us. Instead of just going, that seems like common sense. Let's just fucking do that.
But even the justification where you're like, well, consumer market is, we're taking a risk. It's probably, it'll probably be okay. It's like, well, in some scenarios, it's probably better. And even if it's not better, maybe it's just on par. still 2,000% more efficient.
Yeah, and it's available right now, not 5 years from now.
Yeah.
Yep. There's kind of 3 categories, right? We were emailing about this morning. There's, you can buy it right now, and it's close enough, good enough for military use. You can buy it and then modify it just a bit so that we can use it in a military way.
That's like the ISV, like Chevy Colorado, adapted for military use.
Yep. Or there's long lead time, like our next generation tank. I haven't seen any. I don't know. I haven't been to all the places in Austin, or in San Antonio. Not Austin. Not Austin.
Would recommend avoiding.
But anyway, I haven't seen any tanks for sale, so we have to develop that out, and that's going to take some time, to develop the next generation tank. But drones, there's a lot of them around, and we can use some right away, or just modify them a bit to use them. So anyway,
same with like the laser weapons and microwave weapons, which we definitely won't use on people. That's a Geneva Convention thing.
Geneva Convention.
Yeah.
Microwave weapons?
Yeah. So there's
Brandon, I don't know about this shit.
it's like, you haven't like opened your microwave and just turn it on? No.
Alex did the quick classification check. You said there were microwave weapons, and Alex went, zzz. Yeah.
Those would be gangster.
I mean, they originally rolled them out for, I think, crowd control, right?
No, so we didn't. That was definitely like a Homeland Security thing.
The
Like
history of microwaving people.
It's. Have you seen that?
Here we go.
It's like eyeballs explode.
Too high.
Popcorn.
Like, that one's a little done. No, these are for like counter drone. So think about like
counter drones.
Like take 2 of your safes, like put one next to each other, and like stand it up so that you can just blast it and fry the electronics if they're coming in. And like the scary thing for me, and I won't give away any TTPs because that's terrifying, is like you're in a base in Iraq or not Afghanistan, Syria or anywhere else, and there's a bunch coming, you just flip it on and all the electronics fry and they just fall out of the sky. Like that's nirvana.
HPM, high-powered
microwave.
Just takes a lot of power.
Some private's going to be cooking ramen noodles on that pit.
It's gonna be like,
For sure.
Hold his hand up.
it's like, it's like my dad used to tell me a story. He was like, "Hey, private, crack your mask." He'd be like, "Hey, private, hold up the ramen. If it starts boiling, it's fine."
Yeah.
That's right. I wouldn't trust anyone.
You walk in front of it.
Private's the most dangerous thing in the world.
You walk in front of it. It's like, oh, why does that hurt? Oh, I guess it doesn't hurt anymore.
Fuck. When did you go to basic then?
Wow, you're just aging me? Yeah. 1997.
I mean, that ain't bad. I was
thank you.
12.
Thank you.
Yeah.
2.
Yeah. Oh, really? Yeah. Oh my God, Congressman.
Maybe. Yeah.
And you're an admiral?
I think it was like 1.5.
You're already an admiral? God, this is a freaking colonel?
Brains level diaper.
Fucking 10th level prestige.
I know.
Wait. It's kind of like having your grandma on the podcast.
How's that?
Like having me on the podcast. You were 2 when I was, anyway.
You're old.
Okay.
It's a weird
You're
way
a Nazi?
I was going to say, there's a lot of directions.
That's a weird way to identify it.
Hold his arm down. His heart goes out to people.
Yeah.
I was wondering where you were going with that. I'm like,
We're like, dude, you set this joke up.
How old are you, Cody?
I'm 37. Yeah.
Pretty good. Yeah.
Wait, when you were in the military, did you do infantry first, or what was your first?
Yeah.
Oh, dude, you had.
I was an infantryman growing up, yeah.
How was basic?
Well, I was an infantry officer, so, coming out of college. Yeah. Sweet, great time. Yeah, actually, I just hung out with my buddy. So I went to, like, college camp with him, advanced camp, then...
Band camp,
yes. Then officer basic, then Ranger School, and then first duty station. I just hung out with him last weekend. Drank a bunch of beers together. But, we had some good times, man. Yeah.
Dude, Ranger School is... Have you guys heard any Ranger School stories from any of the guests yet?
Not from the guests, no.
Did you do winter cycle or summer cycle?
Oh, I did some. Yes, I dabbled in a couple different phases of Ranger School. Yeah.
Oh, you did a repeat cycle?
Yeah. This is what I like to say. So I eventually went straight through.
This is the PR skills coming out right now.
I didn't learn this in Ranger School, but
I got extra schooling. I'm more trained.
when I finally restarted, then I went straight through. So does that count?
Yeah. Dude,
So
winter school, you had two. So you just did the one MRE. Like they probably have no. Do you guys have a baseline of Ranger school?
I read it from Matt's book, his stories from that, but that's about it.
yeah, I graduated in December, so I was a winter ranger. Yeah.
Sleepy, you get no sleep. Tell people, explain, because I think you got a lot of people. You're eating 2 MRE. Do you get the 2 MREs or still one?
So we got 2 because this goes back a ways in 1995 or something like that. There were a couple of guys that died in Florida phase.
Oh no shit, I didn't know about that.
Yeah, they got hypothermia. Basically, you combine being totally physically beat down with lower temperatures and water, and then we lost a couple of guys, and so they
Swamp face.
swamp phase, because you're wet all the time. So they changed it anyway. We got 2 MREs, I think, in Florida in the mountains. But the choice always was, do you sleep or eat? And I remember, waking up after 40 minutes with my open MRE in my lap and saying, damn, I really would have liked to eat. But instead I fell asleep. So,
because you guys are averaging on 2 hours.
Yeah, it depended when we were out in the field. Yeah, because it's a cycle of, field problems, kind of learning stuff in the classroom. And it is actually a school. It's not just a complete suck fest. And so, we were probably 2 hours of sleep, oftentimes quite a bit less. And
this is for 60 days.
Yeah, 62 days or something. You lose a bunch of weight. You're under not only physical stress but mental stress. And it's a leadership school, so you're consistently put into leadership roles where you're like, all these people that are sucking as bad as you. Now you're in charge of them, and you have to go really far that way. And so you got to figure out a way to use the process and lead these people to success. And it was a good challenge, just like we do in the Pentagon. No, but
you're trying to speak really so positive. I love how positive you're trying. I've never heard someone say, "Well, it's
For scale, I think it was this. I don't want to put words in his mouth, but if I recall correctly, I think it was swamp phase. Matt said that he had a fucking flesh-eating bacteria all over his back or something like that. That he had to hide because he didn't want to be recycled.
Well, you're up against that. You got a little limp, or you got a couple of problems, and you don't want the medics to know about it because they're like, that could get worse. You're out.
Rocco did. He got knocked off during a raft and dislocated his arm and just faked his arm being in place for the remainder week, I think. Yeah, and he just held it there. Yep, and he made it all the way through until afterwards, and then he went to salute, and he was like,
"Oh god!"
And they're like, "Wait, soldier, what?"
I'd like to say that tab is worth it. That long-term damage to your shoulder. But why I speak about it positively? Because let's be honest, those are good times when you pushing yourself to the physical limit and you're sucking and you're out there with your buddies and
public affairs.
Yeah. No, I actually
would not do that right now.
Yeah.
Even for a YouTube video, you could send us for.
Would you not?
Fuck. How many days would we do that for? For content right now, in our positions in life, 3 days?
I'd do it as long as you guys did it.
Nice.
Yeah, cool.
Hey.
Which I know caps out at about 48 hours.
Carrie's like, I'm done.
It sounds like you guys are throwing down the gauntlet right now. We can actually just had a great idea. Work with Ranger School. We get you guys in, do a Ranger School thing. Unsubscribe, go to Ranger School.
62 days.
62 days. You have to do the whole freaking thing. That'd be so good.
Dude, Brandon gets an actual tab without being in the military.
No,
It's so
God.
dope, dude. You
that's how that
survive on,
works.
we drop out, Brandon makes it through just a hard ass.
I think I found my new career.
There you go.
Here's an alternative. Army birthday, we have
Just trying to turn enlistment papers.
best squad competition. Ooh, we should talk about the EIC guys. Best squad competition on Army birthday. So the morning of July 14th.
June 14th.
Or excuse me, June 14th.
I got you.
Good catch. Good
PR.
catch.
Wow.
Yeah, everybody's going to show up on July. We've got a best squad competition, and we're putting together teams from,
What's
maybe
the competition?
unsubscribe. It's
Can't tell you.
It's CrossFit.
How much?
It's gonna be like coloring and the line. No.
It's CrossFit-y. I mean, it's climbing ropes. It's some team. It's physical competition, obviously.
Hey, Brandon, you ever wake up in your bed feeling like you just fought in a war?
Yeah, why do you ask?
You ever wake up and feel like you slept in a sauna?
Yeah, I believe that's called night sweats.
Means you got a trash mattress, Brandon.
Why are we talking like Macho Man Randy Savage?
Cause today we're talking about our premier sponsorship, GHOSTBED.com. GHOSTBED mattresses are built with cooling technology, so you're not sweating through your sheets like some street bum. You stay cool, comfortable, and most importantly, you sleep through your night. I got you for 3 minutes, but I got GHOSTBED all night. You know what's longer than 3 minutes, Brandon? Any sexual experience I've ever had? GHOSTBED's 20 to 25 year warranty. And you've got a 101 night free trial to test it out. Ooh, yeah. And you know what, brother? They don't just sell mattresses. They have bases, pillows, sheets, the whole empanada. Just pick your mattress and grab a bundle.
Right now, prices are already lower, but you'll get an extra 10% off when you use code unsubscribe at checkout. Head over to ghostbed.com/unsubscribe and get started today.
That's ghostbed.com/unsubscribe. Use the code unsubscribe.
Or I'll start rattling chains under your bed until you do.
Sleep better, stay cooler.
We got marksmanship.
Yeah.
It's just not on the national lawn. Not,
It's on the national mall, so it's
They get a little weird about that for some reason.
yeah.
It's 10 stations of that overhead ball throw.
Not anymore. Not since January. No, just kidding. Just kidding. So anyway, you're invited. Put together a team.
How big does the team have to be?
I think it's 5. Anyway,
For best squad, I think that was an even number.
Let's bring unsubscribe and then Matt Frazier.
I was just gonna say, bring Matt
and
Frazier.
let him get all the points.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
Matt, you're coming.
Well, they're
You're welcome.
they're team events. All right, Cody. Yeah.
He can
There's
make
someone
it
on the
up
team.
for us.
Yeah.
We just pay 5 of the top world CrossFitters. You're us now. Here's our
Here's
face
this
masks.
unsubscribe T-shirt.
Yeah, but you're,
Latex masks.
but you're like, you can't kip anything.
Because Matt won how many CrossFit World Champions in a row? Championships? 5 of them? Yeah.
And he would get that
It's
guy's
not human.
Well, the X-Men were a team, and I don't think Professor Xavier was doing any wall climbs.
Well, you can't look at him and be like, hey, walk it off, Charles.
Beast, help me up. There's 3 stairs.
I don't think he was doing the 10K portion of that.
Well, I mean, he's got the little chair. It just takes a while.
Like, could he move things with his mind or just read minds and make people
Both.
do things? He could.
Yeah.
Why didn't he move his little legs?
That's where his power goes. Yeah. He doesn't move good though. It kind of drag.
He sees a good-looking woman. He's like,
He's just the tops of his feet are always bloody.
Terrible.
Charles.
Handicap jokes. You're on the Instagram.
No, it's mutant jokes.
Yeah.
Come on
Yeah,
now.
see, no one
God,
likes that.
well, that was worse.
No wonder Magneto hates us.
I'm the guy that, yeah.
They're not handicapped. They're fucking mutants. Dr. Alex Miller.
There goes my childhood. And the 90s kid in me comes out.
Do you guys regret coming on yet?
Not yet.
Never.
Let's keep going.
All right.
Let's go deeper.
Oh yeah, we have the Army 250th coming up. We're all doing. We're still figuring out what we're doing there.
Yeah.
We have a stage, or main stage.
Are you asking or telling?
I'm asking and telling because I got told one thing and I'm just
yeah?
confirming.
Yes. Stage.
Okay.
Yeah.
What would you like us to do on that stage?
Just do. What are we doing? An episode? Do an
Yeah.
episode out there, live episode.
We can do that.
Yeah.
I know they wanted.
Plot twist, Ranger School.
Oh no!
I could do an hour Ranger School. I'm fine with that. If we get tabbed after an hour, no one will judge us.
You're a battalion guy, though, right?
No, 2ID.
2ID.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I did
Korea.
Okay, bye.
Korea.
that. No, fucking Fort Lewis.
Brandon just left.
Yeah, they just. Do you want a drink? You can get up. Yeah, you're in uniform.
Yes. You asked me to wear this, by the way.
I know. I was like, you were like, do I wear this or this? I was like, the Class Bs. I thought they were the green still. I was very off on that one.
This is our pinks and greens throwback.
Pinks and greens?
Yeah, old World War II. They called them pinks and greens for whatever reason. I don't know. Alex probably knows what reason. Because he's the chief technology officer, so I assume he knows.
those ones.
Yeah, and this is our throwback uniform. Yeah.
No shit. It
Completely
changed so
adapted.
much.
Yeah.
Did you guys roll those out?
4 or 5 years ago. Yeah.
No
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah.
So I'm so off of all of this shit anymore. I'm like, bomb. No, we
Yeah.
got with Army. We're gonna do a whatever you guys had scheduled, and then a live show. I think they were saying the YouTubers were talking about Hegseth being on.
Oh yeah. Great.
Yeah, and I was like, yeah, all the guys were like, yeah, that'd be a good episode. That would be decent.
Yeah. Right.
Decent.
Yeah, it'd be okay.
But then getting you guys to rotate up, and then however else we treat the 250th, we're just gonna have a blast because
It's gonna be a blast.
you guys
Honestly.
are giving us a lot of free reign, so we can ask them too what they want to see.
This is the way to do it. Free reign. We trust you guys.
We'll see how long that lasts.
Not Brandon, but everybody else. And no, I mean, so the Army's turning 250 years old. That's doesn't happen every day, and it's pretty cool. We're gonna have a massive parade in downtown DC.
Mm-hmm.
That's a whole thing going on right now in the media. It's
What are they saying?
there's unfortunately because we live in such a politically polarized world right now, they're making it all about the president, and we're really trying to make it all about the Army because it's the Army's 250th birthday, and the president will certainly be there. He's going to celebrate with us. We're doing a big ass parade. I'm telling you, like a massive parade in downtown DC, which the president will reside over, and it's gonna be super cool.
No shit.
Yeah, excited about it.
What else can we do? Like for the 250th, I know anyone doing that one. I want to go.
Nice.
Yeah, there we go.
Solid.
Nailed it.
Foul.
Ow.
Yeah,
No, the 250th. It's what we'll show up. We'll have our events, and then people are coming out. Is the general public allowed to just come hang out?
yeah. So the first part of that day, June 14th, we'll start out with the best squad competition. General public allowed there to watch. That's like 9 a.m. to 11, I think, something like that. That's right there on the mall in DC, June 14th. And then we'll go into like an Army festival kind of thing. We'll have a bunch of old stuff that we're cutting out there.
And people are just allowed to hit it with hammers.
Wait, what?
No.
Here's some
love it.
obsolete equipment.
I think that is a fantastic idea.
That'd be cool.
Like ownership.
We can shoot drones into them and see how they survive, which
At
they
the
won't.
same time, depends on what you bring out, because good luck denting a Sherman.
Yeah, that's true.
Actually, that's like cool. Like we're not getting rid of Shermans. We're actually gonna bring them back. Just so many.
What's old is new. And so we'll have Army Festival. That just like if you can imagine like a county fair or a fair down in the mall. You guys will be there, and stuff for the public to do, and then that'll transition into the parade that evening. Think about 4 p.m. A parade go down Constitution Avenue. The president at the end is going to enlist about 200 new recruits into the Army.
That's when Brandon signs up.
That's when Brandon's going to be there. Army, not Navy.
Brandon, you're going to hate your paychecks.
He's resigning his appointment as an admiral and he's the Army.
He resigns his fucking...
We should trick Finn into joining the Army.
Hey, I'm a prisoner of what I do. I was like, hey, how old is that dude? Because we could use editors and like, Finn
being an editor for the Army would be a crazy plot twist.
That'd be so good. We need good editors.
This paycheck sucks awesome.
And then say also,
yeah.
And then fireworks and that's like the Army birthday day, and then there's a bunch of stuff surrounding that.
I want to have fun with it though. That's where I want, like, you can go and get smoked by Angry Cops because he's going to be there. You just have a line where he smokes like 15 individuals at the same time, rotate through, good to go.
Oh, he'd have a blast with it.
Yeah.
Oh, Rich has a good time interacting.
He's still a drill sergeant.
Oh yeah,
yeah. That'd be great.
He popped up, like, people are cropping him into other videos. He popped up on like a random Instagram thing I had yesterday. It was just like him superimposed and BDUs, and I was like, oh God, where is he? He's in everything now.
How is it working with soldiers like with that kind of following, and you have to? Is there any dealing with it? Because that's a dude that has like millions of followers now, and he's a drill sergeant. We know. He gets kicked off of being a drill sergeant. He gets like instantly like,
What do you mean?
Like he's been on one time he showed up to duty. The other his NCOIC or whatever the commander of that unit knew who he was, and they're like, no, we're not gonna have him.
The recruits are gonna be like, that's the guy from YouTube.
As
he's like,
as he's fucking them down.
Yeah,
I know. Recently, it was kind of like a courtesy thing because it was through all the Buffalo school stuff.
So that's different. So that was a courtesy. It's like, hey, take a day off. But when he goes to his active duty status,
I don't know if I've ever heard him talk about that.
Yeah, so he'll get like removed from it. One was for he got in trouble, or they tried to.
Well, that one I knew about.
Yeah, they're like, "But he's saying this stuff." He's like, "What? I smoke." He treats everyone very equally. He doesn't care about like female, male. It is, you're a private and you're a soldier and you're an idiot at the end of the day. So I'm going to smoke you like the exact same. And that got him in trouble. And that's where he was like, "What the fuck is this dumb shit?"
You think it's related to what he does on YouTube, or you think it's because we get people in trouble for doing dumb shit?
I don't know, because this one was, I think it was 2 females complained, if I'm not mistaken, that it was like, sexist or whatever it was.
Yeah.
It was something like, get your ass on the ground or something. It's like, well, that was sexual. It's like, no, he was telling you to get your fucking ass on the ground.
And
but that's not abnormal.
But they know him as drill
complain.
sergeant. They know him as angry cops too, so he gets still that pushback. Even as a police officer, he's talked about it. That would have been like Cody being, dude, as big as you are as an active duty cop right now.
Yeah, I wouldn't do it. I left because I started getting followers. Like, I don't want to be a cop anymore.
Yeah,
I paid way more, and people don't spit in my face. This is rad.
Nobody
Some people
spits
pay
in your
for
face
that.
here.
I don't have to. Well, I mean, I got to pay them.
I didn't like that pronoun.
I thought you said you guys were friends.
Well, I mean, you guys didn't get the white shirt memo?
Yeah, I didn't. That sucks.
How did you guys actually pick different shirts?
No, we showed up to brunch today and both went, God damn it.
How do you both?
I don't know. We should have mixed it up a little bit. Yeah.
I didn't expect.
We did.
Yeah.
No one else wore white.
Yeah.
Like none of us wore the same color. The brothers got dressed the same.
Mom dressed as this woman.
So you asked, how's it working with the active duty guys? I don't think it's working great. So we have, I think, 4 or 5 of the big names kind of centrally working at Fort Cavazos
Where's that?
That's Fort Hood.
What is it? Fort Hood.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was fucking very confused by that Mexican
Which is
name.
where?
It's here. It's
No,
in
I know
Texas.
I know it's in Texas, but like some city in Texas, Killeen.
Yeah, Killeen,
Yeah,
Texas.
yeah.
It's like 2.5 hours.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's up like between here and Dallas.
Yeah, we're in the same state.
Oh no shit! I thought Hood was way further away.
I don't think so.
Might be thinking about Bliss.
That Bliss, never mind.
Yeah,
Bliss is like 8 hours.
and it's not Hood.
It's over near New Mexico.
Okay, buddy.
I'm retarded.
So we have
It's okay,
them.
we accept you.
I don't know why or how they're at Cavazos, but we have them there. I think they were there, and then we just brought them together. But they're not working for public affairs. They're like public affairs adjacent, and so I don't know. All I know is like when we're doing good stuff, we just changed the Army fitness test. I'll go to them and say, hey, change the Army fitness test. Here's why we changed it. Here's what we're saying about it. You guys want to do something? Please, it'd be great. It'd be helpful to us. And there were times when, and I don't know if we name names or whatever, some of the guys came back to me and said, here, do you want to see it before it goes out? And I'm like, I don't want to see the shit. Because, if you start worrying about me reviewing it,
Now it's on me.
no, I don't care. I'll take all the risk. I'll take the
That's why
risk
you're
saying, I'll take the risk saying I purposely did not review it. But I always say this, like when people are making videos and stuff. You have a Van Gogh, you have a painting that you're very proud of, and then 16 levels of supervisors start putting the Post-it notes on the painting. They're like, well, can you add this? And, maybe you can make that shade a little bit darker, because we're all super experts.
And then you end up with new Star Wars.
And then you end up with, yeah. There's a Star Wars thing over there.
Bring back Jar Jar. I'm kidding. Please don't. That was a bad joke. I regret that immediately.
I'm like, these guys are the experts, obviously, like based on their success and what they, what they've shown to be able to do. And I trust that they have the Army's best interest in mind. And so please just go don't ask me to fuck with your thing, because it's not going to be better. It's probably going to be worse. So anyway, we need to give them the freedom to do the stuff. We need to empower them, and we would really, really like to keep them in the Army. But there's a lot of money out there, and it's, the Army still requires a bunch of stuff from you. It's still like a dumb bureaucracy oftentimes, and so we gotta try to sort that out a little bit better.
Not really different than any large organizations, whether it's corporate, government.
Yeah.
You get an entity to a certain size, you're going to have bureaucracy that just fucking sucks.
But which is weird, because in World War II, like the threat was existential. So we brought in people who we didn't think were normal for the Army, like Oppenheimer. Like to do the Manhattan Project, we brought in engineers to do something wild. So having people with unique skills that aren't resonant sort of at large, it's not new. We're just treating it, people get concerned and they get sort of weirded out. Social media, that's a skill. And you guys know, we talked about it a little bit, but this morning, like what you do is unique and difficult, and it doesn't scale very well. So bringing those people in, same with like technical expertise, same with engineers. So it's not something we haven't done before. It's just people are uncomfortable because it's different. And one of the things that Dave's really good at, and I would say even if it wasn't here, is just sort of going, no, that's bullshit. We're going to do it anyway.
Let's talk about the tech guys real quick,
Without
naming names.
Okay.
So
Did you
we've
want to
got
throw somebody under the bus real quick?
No, I want to like
I was like, can we name names?
No, like I want to like applaud these guys because they're amazing Americans.
I warned them first before we name names. So anyway, on the Army birthday, we're going to commission 4 high-level tech executives from companies that you'll, very familiar companies. And these guys came to us and they said, hey, we see what's going on in the change and everything. We want to be a part of it more than we are, and we want to prove that we're a part of it by wearing the cloth of the nation. And so they're not doing it for the pay, fellas. So
no, they're all.
We're gonna commission them as reservists on June 13th. And
wait, they're in the civilian side already doing very, very well.
They're
yes.
tech executives.
And you're joining the fucking reserves?
Yep.
Dude,
And
Brandon's one of them. Which
Yeah.
is wild.
I still thought we were going to name names.
that's why he's going to Ranger School on the 14th.
I'll see y'all motherfuckers in 62 days.
Brandon gets shipped out by himself. He's like, ooh, wait.
No, but it's super
What
cool.
do you mean activation? It's like war declared.
You got the manscaper.
Oh man.
It's
Hey,
like,
I threw that in there.
You're going to
Manscaper. Isn't that one of your sponsors?
It is.
That was good.
Hey,
Hopefully it fits
I'm not
right here. Brought to you by Butler.
not endorsing any.
Yeah, just get you fired real quick.
You're going to Clandathu.
No, I saw one sitting over there, so I was like, oh.
The U.S. military does not endorse any brand of ball shaver.
Wait, they're actually.
We accept all the ball shaver. No, so we're going to commission them. We're going to direct commission, which is an authority that Congress gave us several years ago as cyber officers, because they're all tech executives, and we didn't have. They're not going to be cyber people. Like, they're not going to be doing like offensive or anything, but that's the right place for them as
And
lieutenant.
it's 1 week in a month still.
So this is the weird thing. So they have to do. It's actually
Super
not 1 week in a
interesting.
month. It's a number of hours a year.
Hours a year, yeah.
And what we're going to do is, frankly, and all of us do the same thing. If we give you a hard problem, because what we're going to allow them to do is go to a unit, go, hey, what is the hardest thing that you have? Let me help you think it through. And everybody, all the ethics lawyers were like, oh, they're going to help their companies. No, they're all billionaires. They're literally billionaires already. Their companies don't need the Army's money. So no, they're not going to have insider trading issues. They just want to be here and be like, hey, how can we help you solve your problem? So 200 hours a year. And frankly, what we're going to do is we're going to count it. If they go and spend a day with one of our units and they go home and they're like, hey, I'm going to think about this and like help you out, that counts. I mean, we'll get thousands and thousands of hours.
They already
these guys
spend a lot of that
because
time.
they already in bed with us. So we're going to commission them as lieutenant colonels. We got the SecDef approved it. Congress is tracking.
Damn, they're starting as a lieutenant colonels.
Yep.
Fuck yeah.
Well, they're of that age. So
5 weeks a year is essentially what you're asking from them.
Basically, and just
Dude, can we be lieutenant colonels?
Jesus, Eli. Eli's just like twisting that screwdriver, figuring out
morally
where.
or ethically.
No, that's for all of us. We all become lieutenant colonels.
It is funny though that you mentioned that, because you're like, these are already tech billionaires, whatever. Like, because people have the concern like they're going to pad their own pockets. I don't think those people have ever met anybody who's reached the $100 million line.
No.
Because like maybe you take out like some bankers and real estate people, whatever, like those types out of the equation, but like the people who made it by building a product just because they're smart guys and they just want to solve problems, they're built different.
They
That's
are.
right.
And,
That's right.
And I had an opportunity to, so I know all of them personally, which is I'm very thankful that I get to like know these people and work with them and help solve problems. I spent hours with them in a van going out. We took them to NTC, like the greatest place on earth, Fort Irwin, California.
Yeah.
And it was just one of the greatest times. We spent 3 hours going one way, 3 hours going the other way, just going like, hey, how do we think about this problem? How could you solve it? They just care about America enough to go, I'll do this.
Yeah.
So it's very cool.
That's a nice little teaser for June 13th.
But so what's on the horizon for you guys after the 250? Just back to work?
Back to work. Yeah, we've got to what I call in the infantry consolidate our gains and consolidate, reorganize. So once we go through kind of the budget cycle and we cut all this stuff and we're reinvesting it, and then so we've got to move the Army to reorganize based on that, and to change our training and our doctrine based on all the new stuff.
Yeah, so through the rest of the summer, the thing we keep mentioning, and we actually haven't talked about it, is the SecDef signed out a memo called Army Transformation Initiative and told us to do things like consolidate 2 of our 4-star headquarters, consolidate some of our Forces Command with some of our Army North and Army South. So the rest of the summer is working through how do you do that mechanically? Like, where do you put those people? Do we keep those people? Because like the other thing that the president and the White House and the SecDef are saying is slim yourself down. Like, the headquarters have gotten too bulky. There's a lot of fat to be trimmed. Thinking through how do we do that? And then, frankly, and this is like the unromantic, unsexy thing from the Pentagon perspective, how do we set some of these things in motion and just let the Army function and make sure that this stuff's there for them? for them being soldiers in units.
Yeah, we're cutting. It's kind of a big deal. We're cutting We're cutting a 4-star headquarters. Actually, yeah, one main 4-star headquarters. We're consolidating a bunch of commands. Cutting 40 plus general officer positions. So General George has really been doing this since he got to be the chief, but the Secretary of Defense gave us the directive and the kind of permission to do it. And so we're leaning out all the top heavy stuff in the Army and getting the numbers back into the force. So you have non-commissioned officers and you have soldiers into formations and not surrounding 4-star generals somewhere.
Yeah, I bet you could probably help with some of the budgetary issues and whatnot if you guys just did an auction on the Millie portrait.
Ooh, yeah. No comments.
Yeah. I would be very curious to see what that would sell for, and I know it's sitting in an office somewhere.
Yeah. So you want to talk about a tank? No.
Yeah.
No. They
I had to. Sorry.
No, it's good. It's like fuck you. No, but like the other cool.
I was not expecting that.
No, but there's a lot of other cool stuff going on. So like the headquarters stuff, that's all like bureaucracy stuff. If you want to know the cool stuff the Army's doing, like we're going to do live fires on the new tank. Like I'm going to go up to Detroit in July and see live fires. And like, how do we do that? We'll drive it in December. We'll do new rocket tests in July. We'll do fly our new drones all through the summer. Like the Army.
Can we be part of any of that?
Is it public?
We need to bring you out.
We'll figure it out.
Not open to the public, but you know what I mean, like classified.
Like, it's not classified.
Yeah.
And I love being able to tell taxpayers, here's how we're spending your money. Here's how we're spending our money. We're doing the right thing. So yeah, like
it'll be on our dime. We'll fucking fly out there if you give us.
No, I'm talking about
permission
like
to do
with
that.
the tank stuff.
Yeah, we'll still fly out.
Hell yeah.
But if you let us shoot that shit,
That'd be awesome.
No, I hate shooting tanks.
It's like I hate hearing like the USAID shit where it's like, oh, we went to Sudan and spent $2 billion on male circumcision. Yeah. God, man, I really just fucking hate the IRS. I see a tank blow up some shit from a mile away. I'm like, I could pay a little bit of taxes.
We'll think about this.
This
so
new tank is kick-ass.
It is, and like
I don't even know what the new one is.
so it's called the M1E3.
E3, baby.
So the
E3.
Abrams,
E3?
is an amazing tank.
Yeah.
It is the
You might
best
not be
main
able to
battle tank
Google
in
it.
the world. You definitely can. The M1A2 SEP V3, like the Abrams,
When I saw it, it was
best
in a
main battle
tent.
tank in the world.
It was like hidden in a tent.
Yeah, I know.
Is that it? Wait, well,
No, that's a webpage. Yes, that's like the mock-up. So like one of the things that's about that is it has an autoloader. So how do you take like the same way that your rifle, like you pull the trigger once and it cycles, like right now inside of an Abrams, fucking pull it and a dude literally opens his hand,
soldier,
get
yeah.
in there.
big, dude.
What if we just automated that? So we'll start doing that.
To my understanding, the Soviets
Hell yeah.
were super big in the autoloaders, right?
Yeah, Russians got really good at it.
Yeah, but that was one of the weaknesses of their tanks is that the autoloaders basically you hit anything into the turret and all of those rounds go off.
And it'll fail. Yeah.
Holy shit! The camera's on that bitch.
Yeah. So
I'm assuming that's a solved problem in this.
yeah, so that's what we're going through testing on, so that like if you take a round, like the main battle tank should be able to tank a round, right?
Yeah.
And not self-destruct. So yes.
Well, the Soviets weren't very good at that part.
yeah, true. LOL. But the
That
other thing
wasn't
is
in their budgetary
the reason they
requirements
have so many.
document.
The reason they have so many cameras is what if that tank was also like I don't know, optionally manned? What if it was a robot itself? And what if we had I don't know, like F1 seats in there that were comfortable to drive, and you could like
AC.
have software driving it for you and help you, so that you don't have 4 dudes in a big metal box that have to crawl at the back if something catastrophic happens.
That's why I was like, so a lot of the you were even saying with breaching, it's like, hey, we can just have something, an object or a remote object breach, and then you don't have to worry about a soldier getting fucked up.
Yeah, which we've done, by the way. The remote breaching.
No shit.
So have you heard of the MICLIC mine
I'm assuming
mine clearing?
Shoots at a big
Something.
charge.
Yeah.
Lands, and then blows up.
It's like a big thing of det cord, essentially.
Exactly.
Exactly right.
So right now, soldiers drive that up there. You drive it up to the line to the minefield, and you have to clear the minefield.
And everybody knows where you're going, and everybody's shooting at you.
Yeah. So what if you just had a robot do that? Or even better, what if you had a robot drive up and like a bunch of small drones come off of it, go find the mines because they can have a camera, and then just go boop and blow up the mines. So you actually have something like, what if we just didn't put soldiers in really shitty situations all the time?
Because we have robots to do it.
though?
To think,
I want meat shields. That's where I was.
Well, the Russian army has some new openings.
they have 5 rounds and 1 rifle, and you just figure it out.
It's funny though. It's an important point though, because
It's funny.
at the end of the day, right? As savage as we are, human beings are. You're not wars are won by putting soldiers in the mud,
Boots on ground.
taking and holding terrain.
Yeah.
So we still need it. All this drones and the robots and stuff, and all this stuff that this guy's like developing in his evil bedroom at night or wherever the fuck.
When you say evil,
It's very dark and scary.
And bedroom? Why did I say bedroom?
That's my thinking space.
Anyway, it's not going to replace.
I have a life.
Soldiers on the ground, and so our stuff is built around getting soldiers into position to take and hold ground,
But not making them do the shitty jobs.
by not wasting,
Well, the dangerous ones.
Wasting
Yeah, well,
their lives.
so like,
God, I joined way too
yeah,
early.
There's
like
still
what are
time.
robots good at? Dull, dirty, dangerous. That's what robots are good for, and all the things that. Like soldiers will always do dangerous things. Like we expect them on behalf of the country to do like terrible things on our
Drinking
behalf.
and driving.
Finding every porta potty possible. No, but like Kuwait
does.
Kuwait's a terrible place. But what if some of the things that we know that we can like stop that? Like what if into the breach, like into the first dude in the door? What if that was a robot every time? Instead of just one of our guys,
That'd be cool.
right? So second guy in isn't like soaking up all the fire because the robot's gone in, and if the robot blows up and dies, okay, like Wally, like we'll build
get
Wally
another one.
2.0.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, according to my Marine Corps friends, the first guy in is usually an M67 frag grenade.
There is that.
But what if the robot threw
Googly
5
eyes.
of them? Yeah.
With googly eyes. Just to rescue that. Hey, shit ass.
Assalamu alaikum.
What is it, fucking Craighead? Hello, Muhammad.
Butler's just sweating.
So, but what's replaced? What's replaced the frag grenade? So we are sending now a drone in. Like the high-end special operations units. Baghdadi, others were killed. The drones are going in first.
Dude,
Yep. Dogs with cameras.
yeah. Actually, one of my buddies was on that raid. Like,
No shit.
Yeah.
Cool story, Eli.
But yeah, they were on that, and the dog, because they actually pivoted. They said the dog died, and the dog was fine.
Yeah, the word
Yeah.
fine.
Yep.
And
The robot dog.
No, the dog.
Dogs.
Dogs.
They,
Oh,
they
shit.
sent in real dogs. Yeah, fucking
real dogs,
canine.
cameras,
Oh, holy fuck.
drones, explosive drones.
Yep.
Sending all that
So
shit
like this
in
is
first.
Regiment,
Yeah.
doing some of their FPV stuff where that's their shoot house, and they literally flew the drone in and then cleared it.
No whoa, that's fucking dope.
Cool.
So it's just a little drone that goes in first.
Yeah, and think about it. You put a 9-banger on, and like you don't care about the drone coming back, but you fly a 9-banger in and you clear it, and the first dude in, like everybody's before the first guy breaches. Like we could do that every time.
That's fucking wow. Yeah, Baghdadi clocked himself off before.
Yeah, 'cause he was a
anything.
pussy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you got like dollars and everything from it.
And then that's the one I showed you about earlier. Like that's the ISV with the like all the gun mounts on it.
Show him that. That's his wheelhouse.
Oh, that absolutely is just warthog-esque.
Hey, right? Like I'm like, where's the Gauss cannon?
Shit.
But the Rangers have to like
cool.
gun it up,
Cool.
and I'm like, it's not for fighting from, guys.
No, it's a
It's
true
just
transport.
mobility.
It gets you
It's
there so you don't have to
civilian.
walk in
Yeah, but
12
we need,
miles.
like, lots of guns on it.
So is every acquisition process as much of a shit show as the NGSW program?
Yes. That's not fair. So it's super easy to shit on acquisition people. There's a lot of really good ones. Like our acquisition.
Alex used to be an acquisitions guy.
No, I'm qualified as an acquisition
He's got the
professional.
acquisitions tab.
Yeah. It's like PowerPoint Ranger. No, so like our acquisition military deputy, he's a 3-star. He's phenomenal. I've worked with him for a decade. Like he is a change maker. Our current principal deputy for acquisition, he just came from Congress. He's a change maker.
And not to shit on the guys, but the process.
The process itself. Okay.
So we're changing.
We are changing. So during GWAT,
Characterization of needs.
well, yeah. So during GWAT, we had like a way better way to do this. If you were like, "Hey, I need something," we were like, "Yeah, why wouldn't we buy that?" And we just bought things. Like we bought
Black
the right
credit
things.
card, like
Right.
go for it.
Yeah.
So if it was legal,
Okay.
moral, and ethical then, it's legal, moral, and ethical now. So what we're doing now is instead of like, we do this stupid thing where we have a requirements document and somebody who's making up words and they sound really cool and the document's like this thick and nobody ever actually reads it. And I mean that. And everybody probably just got really offended. I don't care. Like nobody actually reads those things. So what if we just said, it should work. It should probably do like these things. It should work. It should work. It should probably do these
So you're
things.
describing like outcomes,
And it's like
instead of
3 pages.
specific things.
So for
Gotcha.
so for our command and control stuff, and everybody here has seen TAC or ITAC or ATAC, where it's literally like an Android app on a phone.
You've got the
and,
phone
and
in there.
everybody's on our
Yep,
chest.
yep,
On
So
the chest rigs.
so as we redo all of our command and control things, like we just said, hey, what if commanders could see to their unit from a tablet? What if we could just see everything from a tablet? Like build the architecture that does that, because I can see everything on Google Maps. I can put tabs down. Like we know the technology exists. Like the unit did this.
It's simple.
A decade
People can
ago.
already use it.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. The UI is already like, if you've used an iPhone, you know how to drop pins. Like everybody already intuitively.
right.
It's the reason why the baseball grenade. Like
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
That's a great example.
So if we
I'm gonna use
told
that.
if we
Go for
told
it.
industry, well, like 97% of kids coming into the Army have never thrown a baseball.
it worked in World War II.
It did.
Yeah.
Wait,
Because-
what? Oh, wait, pause.
Well, so let's go back to the acronym. I'll come back to
Okay.
that. So
What?
what if we just told industry, like the best of industry, like the companies that we have working on the first tranche, and I can say this, nobody should get offended, like the Palantirs, the Andurils, the Microsoft, the Googles, the Cabinis, the Sierra Nevada. Like what if we just said, hey, it should sort of work on a tablet, figure out the rest of it so it doesn't suck. And we just let them sort of work together, like literally sit at a table and go like, here's what it should look like. Here's how we should work. It should be as easy as we give it to you. It's on an iPhone. You figure it out. If it's something doesn't work, you tell us and we'll fix it. What if we just did that instead of this whole bullshit process that takes 7 years and you are like out of the service by the time we give it to you?
It's almost like how the Hellfire or the drones, where it's like, hey, just give them an Xbox controller,
Yeah.
and then these
That's
kids
right.
know how to do
Exactly.
it.
Like there's a reason that companies design the way they do for our everyday lives. What if we just did that? So we did. So we put some of these guys on contract. We said, get around a table, figure it out. 4 months later, they came up with the first prototype. We took it to NTC. We gave it to an armor formation. So we gave it to a bunch of tankers. We gave it to a striker unit. And we said, does it work? And they went, this is way better than anything. Because they could see themselves. They could see the enemy. They could task each other. They could talk to each other. And it was super simple. So we told them, hey, like, don't watch pred porn all the time. Like that chews up all your bandwidth, and we know we all like watching the strikes, but like don't do that.
Yeah.
And they went, okay.
Did they have the option to?
Yeah, like you
Oh,
can.
that'd be a hard one not to
well, like
watch.
it's like
It's the bad habits of GWAT. You're always pulling in
like you could
Drone
see
footage
you had
and
access, so you watched it.
full motion video.
It's just like,
Oh, they're going buzzer on. They're going buzzer on.
Yeah.
So we said like, hey, what if
Yeah,
we
it's
were
like
just
somebody's
smarter?
hogging all the bandwidth.
What happened to my frame rate?
It's like, what are those 3 guys doing over there? Is there a goat?
everyone has the same story.
Yeah,
The Jurassic Park. What's going to happen to the goat?
Life finds a way.
Oh no!
So and then what if we like said, hey, there's Starlink antennas and Starshield antennas. We could give you bandwidth. So we let them iterate on that for a year, and that is going to replace all of our command and control systems. So all of the fire systems, which we've had those for 30 years. It's really good at what it does. What if it was just like, there's a target I don't want to strike at. What are my options? Or what if AI was like, hey, there's a target, you can strike it. Here are your
That's
options.
what
Here's
we're
the
seeing
best
now.
one.
It's the AI saying,
And
and
somebody-
here's the best way to fire at it.
Yeah, and so
Based
you don't
on
go like
all the joint
Winchester on
force.
everything.
Yeah. But just to describe what the old fire system was, it's standalone boxes, standalone computer boxes with its own satellite trailer. With, it's every single thing we have is a standalone system that requires men, maintenance, the whole thing. And now it's
what if every app on your iPhone, I had to give you a new iPhone? Like,
Yeah.
that's the thing.
Yeah.
You had to carry like 17 different iPhones just to like function in life.
I love the AI process of it, because then it is no different than chess AI. It's like, hey, here's the greatest move that you can do. Here's the second best. Here's the third best.
Yeah,
It's
that's right.
just doing that for you. But there still needs to be that human touch to it to
Yeah.
be like, hey, okay, let's do this one.
And it's not magic, right? So we have had some of the best technologists in the world, because when we first tried this, so that process is called weaponeering. It's like, how do you match the thing that you want to kill with the thing that can kill it? The easiest answer for AI up front was like, everything gets a tomahawk. Like tomahawk, like you'll definitely kill it with a tomahawk.
a lot.
Like one dude, tomahawk. One tank, tomahawk.
Well, once you develop the meta,
Yeah, it's like, and then
if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
well, then we were like, hey,
100% results.
what if we didn't have infinite tomahawks? Like, what if the Game Shark wasn't on?
Let's use it. Let's use the Hellfires.
Go to hellfire.
I pictured that fucking meme video of like the nose of the aircraft going, "Aww."
And they're like, oh, no more tomahawks, SM3. So it's like, what if we didn't have that? So it's like, how do we train these things so that they actually do the things that are useful? So so you actually have what's useful in a fight, because not everything's going to get like tomahawks, not everything's going to get a B2 strike. So it's training, and then
Some stuff should.
lots of things. Like, we're just going to glass it.
Convention.
Speaking of, that's one of my
Thanks,
favorite.
Canada.
That's one of my personal favorite upgrades in this administration, is the fact that the president of the United States will post on social media, just through the official White House account, flat out just thermal war porn.
Bro, that was the most wild thing to see.
It happened again this
Red
week.
porn that he
What?
was talking
See, I haven't
about.
even seen that, dude.
Oh yeah, he basically just like, oh, these are 10 Somalis that were a problem, and now they're not.
Dude, we send that in the group chat because it's like, yo, and then you check where it comes from, and you're like, that's a silver
See,
button.
now soldiers don't need to pull that in from the internal network. They could just go to Twitter,
Yeah.
or True Social, and go find it.
Yeah, that's a valid target. but how do we recover from this?
Well,
the
the
key
AI stuff though is just there's one more level on the targeting, because like what we're seeing, there's a little
Tell me more.
bumper sticking out of a thing, and so human eye drone footage, you might not pick that up, but AI is like, no,
Yeah, so
that bumper's
So what if we
an
did
enemy
this?
bumper.
Like two of the exact same thing. They could be Hiluxes, they could be BTRs, they could be whatever. But what if I was just like, now my AI can go, hey, that's the one you were tracking. Like that specific dent in that specific place, that's the one that we were looking at before. This is the same target. We can track it all the way through.
Well, dude, people, we talked about the other day with the chess AI and how it can develop. Someone got caught cheating in an AI tournament at a low level, and they're like, oh, I didn't cheat. And then
Who was it Lupo?
It was
yeah,
Lupo.
Yeah.
Lupo. And it was like,
Which means wolf in Italian.
does it?
Yeah, I just retired a guy named Pete Lupo.
Oh, I did
Yeah.
not even know that.
Just so you know.
Knowledge bomb.
Yep.
Now you do.
But cheating on like chess is the easiest thing to catch, and when a dude is, the AI will give you every strongest move, and then if somebody else does a dumb move, then it's like, oh well, here's the next best move for that. It's calculating everything, as you said, at this level of a degree. So that's where human error is not going to catch that, but AI 100% is going to catch that.
And faster.
And yeah, and it's a scale thing, right? So everybody, AI is like a buzzword. Everybody loves it, and we use it all the time. Like I used to know how the algorithms for Waze work, and I just stopped caring because it works enough for me. But that's a version of AI.
It's terrifying.
It is, but Yeah, it's like Skynet's on the way, and I'm like, I for one welcome our glorious robot overlords. Please don't kill me first.
I definitely also welcome the American version more than the Chinese one.
Yeah,
totally.
And
if we don't, people act like if we don't do it, then nobody else will. It's like
that's right.
They're absolutely
not
working on
correct.
it. Like the social credit score is a real thing. Like that is all facial recognition tied to like your personality.
I'm
your
safe. My eyes.
I am not.
Wait, how do you get your score up? I'm just asking. Just wondering. Anyway.
If you have to,
Literally,
ask,
social
you can't
media.
afford it.
Yeah, social media is how you get your credit score.
Yeah.
Or, social media score? What is it?
Social credit score.
Yeah.
We'd be good. I think.
No,
It's not that kind of social. No.
I think it's,
Never
it's
mind.
not based on.
I think it's like how good,
We're screwed.
it's like how good of a citizen you are.
There you go. Like how
If you
like,
spit
the
on the
party yard,
sidewalk,
yeah.
you
fucked.
might
like
Not
jaywalking.
be good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh no,
No,
we're
we're definitely all going to the gulag. Like, I'm going to find the best rock.
If you've ever, if you've ever compared Glorious Leader to Winnie the Pooh, you're fucked.
glorious.
Okay, well, AI conversation's done.
Yeah.
I actually think you guys have to start
shit,
getting
do we?
on this
Yeah.
one. So actually get this wrapped up.
All right.
We'll have first off. Where do we find? Well, Army, or where do we?
Where do we find you at the
Go
Pentagon?
GoArmy.com.
Yep, that's the
I'm
easiest
the
way.
best Army spokesman. I'm like, what's our website?
Dude,
Yeah.
you are the
GoArmy.com.
best Army spokesman.
GoArmy.com.
GoArmy.com.
Anything else you guys want to say while we still have you here?
Thanks for having us on. Honestly, what you guys do is unique, and it's certainly important. It's just a group of dudes that sit around a table and BS like any of us could, but then you stumble on some really important things, and so like you did in Buffalo, and things like having us on. We really, really appreciate that, and I mean it from the bottom of my heart, and from the secretary and chief. Thanks. Appreciate you guys a lot.
Thank you. Guys.
Thank you.
I appreciate it.
Can I be like a zealot for the Army for a second?
Go for it.
I want to reiterate, like, we have a badass Army. Like, we do everything everywhere, every day, on every continent. Like, people don't understand the global response force for the world is 18th Airborne Corps. The immediate response force for the world is 82nd Airborne Division. The Homeland Defense Brigade under 10th Mountain is under 4th ID is 2nd Brigade. We are the Corps of Engineers. National Guard does all of the humanitarian assistance. Like, your Army is responsible for literally everything, every day, every mission around the world. And that is why, it's certainly why I get up every day and go to work. I know it's the same for Dave. I know it's the same for General George. I know it's the same for Secretary Driscoll. But as we think through what the future of the Army is, we are literally thinking every mission, every day, every hour, every continent. And thank you guys for letting us have a platform and sharing it with you.
Yeah, we appreciate it.
Thanks for making the trip, guys.
Glad you guys are here.
Cody, do your job.
Bye, everyone. Thank you for coming to the Unsubscribed podcast. I'm joined today by Eli Doubletap, Dr. Alex Miller, Colonel Butler, Brandon Herrera, myself, Donut Operator. Thank you so much for coming out.
We love you.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks.
See y'all at 250.